Last night, while you were probably sleeping, the U.S. Senate passed the American Strength and Prosperity Act, a bill so massive, it's like a meteor headed for your bank account. This $8 trillion Trump-backed behemoth promises to supercharge the economy with huge tax cuts, a fortified border, and a dramatic shift to America First spending. Supporters call it a new dawn for American exceptionalism. Critics say it's a historic wealth transfer, gutting programs millions rely on. So buckle up, let's unpack what's inside this legislative Trojan horse before it lands in your life. First up, tax cuts the biggest in modern history, totaling $4 trillion. If you're ultra-wealthy or run a giant corporation, you just hit the jackpot. Corporate taxes drop to 15%, the estate tax vanishes, and the top income bracket shrinks. Middle-class families, you get a modest break, maybe $500 a year, while billionaires save millions. Many deductions ordinary people rely on, like for state taxes, student loans, and medical expenses, are gone. And when the middle-class cuts expire, some families could end up paying more. It's a classic bait-and-switch promise to feast. Most Americans get crumbs. The other $4 trillion? Border security and the military. $1.5 trillion goes to border enforcement, finishing the wall, high-tech surveillance, and hiring thousands of new agents. Immigration is treated as an invasion, not a social issue. America's door is welded shut. The Pentagon gets another $1 trillion for new jets, carriers, and futuristic weapons. Defense contractors feast while social programs starve. It's clear where the priorities lie: power and security, everything else a distant second. The message: we can't afford to help struggling families, but we'll have invisible bombers on standby. To pay for all this, the proposed legislation outlines a series of significant changes to the nation's budget. These changes, if enacted, will have far-reaching consequences for a wide range of social programs and the individuals who rely on them. The bill slashes a staggering $2 trillion from the social safety net. This represents a substantial reduction in funding for programs designed to assist vulnerable populations, raising concerns about the potential impact on poverty and inequality. Medicaid, a vital healthcare program for millions of Americans, becomes a block grant. States get a fixed sum, no matter what happens. This shift in funding structure could create significant challenges for states, particularly during economic downturns or public health crises, potentially leading to reduced access to healthcare for those who need it most. SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, faces $300 billion in cuts, with stricter work rules and tighter eligibility. These changes could make it more difficult for low-income individuals and families to access food assistance, potentially increasing food insecurity and hardship. Millions, kids, who rely on these programs for basic necessities, seniors, many of whom are on fixed incomes, working poor, who are struggling to make ends meet, could lose health care or go hungry. The consequences of these cuts could be devastating for individuals and families already facing significant economic challenges. Trying to save a little? You might lose benefits for being too responsible. This creates a perverse incentive, discouraging individuals from saving and building financial security. The real-world impact isn't just numbers. It's families forced to choose between food, a fundamental human need, medicine, essential for maintaining health and well-being, and rent, the foundation of stable housing. It's a redistribution of pain, taking from those with the least, giving to those with the most. This policy choice exacerbates existing inequalities and undermines the social safety net that is meant to protect the most vulnerable members of society. Buried deep within the bill's fine print, almost hidden from view, lurking in the shadows of legislative jargon, some truly wild extras. Things you wouldn't believe are actually included in this piece of legislation. Prepare to be shocked. A cool $50 million earmarked for a national garden of American heroes. And what grand centerpiece will adorn this garden? None other than a colossal 100-foot gold-plated eagle statue. A monument to, well, something. But wait, there's more. Environmental rules are gutted, protections dismantled. Green energy funding is axed, renewable initiatives are starved of resources, progress stifled. And naturally, new subsidies flow generously to coal, propping up a dying industry. As if that weren't enough, the bill bans federal regulation of AI for 5 long years. Tech companies get free rein, operating in a regulatory vacuum with absolutely no oversight. These seemingly miscellaneous items aren't so random after all. They reveal the bill's true priorities: a potent cocktail of hyper-nationalism, unwavering support for fossil fuels, and the relentless pursuit of unchecked corporate power, free from accountability. The Golden Eagle isn't just a statue, a gaudy, over-the-top display of national pride. It's the bill in a nutshell, a perfect, albeit absurd, encapsulation of its core values. Big, shiny, expensive, a monument to excess, and ultimately, tragically, missing the point entirely. This is more than just economics or policy. It's a cultural statement, a declaration of identity. The bill's through the Senate, a significant hurdle cleared in its legislative journey. But this is far from the finish line. But the real fight is in the House, where every vote counts, and where the debates are often more fierce and the divisions run deeper. The House represents a broader spectrum of views, making consensus a difficult prize to attain. Lobbyists swarm, descending upon Capitol Hill, their influence peddling reaching fever pitch as they try to sway opinions and secure favorable outcomes for their clients. Ads flood the airwaves, blanketing television screens and social media feeds with carefully crafted messages designed to persuade and influence public opinion. The battle for hearts and minds is waged through sound bites and carefully chosen imagery, and your voice matters more than ever. In this crucial moment, the voices of ordinary citizens can cut through the noise and make a real difference. Call your representatives. Let them know where you stand on this critical legislation. Remind them they work for you, that their primary responsibility is to represent the interests of their constituents, not just donors or party bosses. Their allegiance should be to the people, not to special interests or political agendas. If it passes both houses of Congress, the president will sign, sealing its fate and setting it into motion, and the impacts will hit fast. The effects of this legislation will be felt almost immediately across the country. Tax cuts for the rich, further widening the gap between the wealthiest Americans and everyone else. Border wall funding, diverting resources from other critical needs and fueling controversy. And cuts to healthcare and food aid, leaving vulnerable populations even more exposed and struggling to make ends meet. This isn't abstract. These are real-world consequences that will affect the lives of millions. It's about your wallet and your family's future. It's about the kind of society we want to build for ourselves and for generations to come. The $8 trillion question. The staggering cost of this legislation raises fundamental questions about our priorities and our values. Will America double down on wealth for the few, further entrenching inequality and creating a society where opportunity is limited to a select elite, or invest in a safety net for all? Will we choose to create a society where everyone has a chance to thrive, regardless of their background or circumstances? The choices made now will echo for a generation, shaping the landscape of our society for decades to come. Pay attention. Get involved. Your participation is essential to ensuring that our government truly represents the will of the people. History's being written, and you're in it. Your actions, your voice, and your choices will help determine the course of that history.